Dillian Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now word has it, y'all, that, heavyweight champion, gotta say him, got 2 belts now. Anthony Joshua. You know who his next opponent is? I don't either. But I can tell you who he wants. He wants Dillian Whyte. He wants Dillian Whyte. And, from his standpoint, it's not really bad, right? Because Dillian Whyte is the guy that gave him probably his second best fight. Had him rocked in the round 2. And he also knows that Dillian Whyte beat him in the amateurs and gave him his best fight, had him wobbled, and it's documented that the guy was a one-armed fighter on that night, right? So Anthony Joshua's probably like, this is an itch I gotta scratch. It's not a bad thing from his standpoint, if you ask me. It's not really that bad. Now, us being selfish, we all want unification, or most of us want unified heavyweight champion. This is just another video displaying what I was saying. Bye-bye unification. It's probably not going to happen, right? Because you got mandatories getting in the way. We know that IBF, Pulev wants some, WBA, Luis Ortiz, and things like that. And so the unification is probably not going to happen. But I was just saying, from Anthony Joshua's standpoint, I can see why he wants to scratch this itch. And, actually he would normally deserve a fight where he can just have a voluntary right now, right? He just got through taking care of Vladimir Klitschko. And if Vladimir Klitschko doesn't exercise his rematch clause, then, under normal circumstances, you would probably want to give Anthony Joshua a voluntary here and make him have a fight after that voluntary against a mandatory or a unification, right? Because, even Joshua, he got the title from Charles Martin, who was undefeated, right? And then he fights Brazil and Eric Molina and somebody else in there, not the greatest fighters, but Brazil is resilient. Molina was coming off of knocking off Thomas Adamek in Poland, giving Deontay Wilder one of his best fights, taking him deep into the fight at least. So, Joshua, deserves a little break normally. But we got the mandatories and the unification up there. So I don't really know what's going to be going forward. I don't see him being able to fight Dillian Whyte because let me tell y'all, Luis Ortiz is not going to let that happen this time. He's not going to step aside for a voluntary. He'll probably step aside again for a unification match, right? I can see that happen. That makes logical sense. Take a little money, let a unified champion present itself, and then beat him. That's okay. But when you start saying, hey, I want to fight this guy and I want to fight this guy, and you got a mandatory, a deserving mandatory, because for me, Luis Ortiz is the only mandatory right now that is deserving. I don't think WBC mandatory, Bermane Stavern, and I don't think the IBF mandatory, Kubrat Pulev, deserve to be mandatory. Not to the extent of where they should get in the way of unification. I just don't believe that, but who the hell am I, right? But back to the point, Anthony Joshua wants Dillian Whyte. I don't know if that's good news or bad. Y'all decide. Dillian Sports Talk, worldwide, and I'm up out of here.